Good evening and welcome to the Fayette County School Corporation Board of School Trustees Business Meeting. We're here at the Administration Building. It's Tuesday, July 14th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to begin by seeking a motion to approve the agenda as submitted and amended.
Madam President, I will make that.
Thank you, Chris. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dennis. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any patron comments on agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes from regular business meeting of 6/9/2020, executive meeting of 6/9/2020, and the special meeting of 7/2/2020. The personnel report, retirements, resignations, leaves of absences, etc. The approval of the June 2020 claims, numbers 56173 through 56913. And donations. A donation of $1,029.58 from Clifford Instrument Laboratory Incorporated from Cincinnati, Ohio, to the WCC Precision Machining Program to be used for 2 toolboxes for the 2019-2020 outstanding students. A donation of a new cargo trailer valued at $7,725.20 from the band boosters to Fayette County School Corporation. Seeing that, I'd seek a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Lori. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ann. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll now move on to action items. Personnel report, Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Board President and School Board. I'm filling in for Mr. Hensley today. So we have 6 certified staff recommendations for employment. Hunter Blake, English teacher at CHS. Stephanie Buckler, Head Start teacher at Little Spartan Preschool. Kristen Frost, developmental preschool teacher at Little Spartan Preschool. Beth Halcomb, social studies teacher at CHS. Amanda Rose, Head Start teacher at Little Spartan Preschool. And Bill Vaughn, English teacher at CHS. We also have 1 classified staff position, Annette Eby. She will be an education diagnostician located with the Centerville Fayette Special Services Department. And then there's 1 memo attached, and it relates to Mr. Trent Liggett and some changing of his roles to help support CHS as a part-time assistant principal, and then he will continue as safety coordinator and continue in his duties as assistant athletic director. So this change does add 10 days to his contract, which is reflected in his salary with the additional 10 days. So Mr. Liggett's here today, and we met and talked about this, and I believe he'll provide some really great support to our students in that assistant principal role as well. So those are our recommendations for the board tonight.
Thank you. I would like to seek a motion to approve the personnel report.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Andy. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Chris. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll now move on to school board policy, Mr. Collins.
Thank you. Policy 3.37, this is the second reading of the changes. We had the first reading last month, and so after sharing the changes, then we will ask for your approval to make these changes as part of our school board policy. This was a policy related to bus driver qualifications and then also the safety requirements for them. So we did add some language in section 1 that provides guidance and information related to the drug testing policy, and that we're now required to enroll our drivers in the clearinghouse drug program. This is a state mandate, so we're updating that policy. We also removed some of the compensation pieces because that needed to be changed after we made some changes with that piece this past year. And then the other changes would be just with the posting of vacancies in section 4, where we made a slight change to the dates just to assist our transportation director with filling some positions. So those are the only changes made to that, some minor language changes, so I present those to you for approval.
Thank you. I'd like to seek a motion to approve school board policy number 3.37.
I so move.
All right, I'll take that. Ann, I hear second. Dennis, thank you. Any discussion? All those
Just a
in
question. Scott, are we okay with the number of drivers we need right now?
Right now, yes.
Okay, thank you.
They are currently working on routing, and until we have registration to know how many kids will
Right.
be returning full-time, regular school versus those who may choose the online option, we don't know, but Daryl has started working with his staff on that, yeah. So he believes unless we have some attrition, we should be okay.
Good,
Yeah.
good news.
Are we going to be able to, have we determined whether or not we're going to be able to use some of the smaller white buses up in the hinterlands?
He's looking at that as one of the options. They just need to wait and see how many children register in those areas to make sure we have enough to support that, or we may not have enough to support. So yeah, he's working on that. That's on his radar.
Okay.
He hasn't finished it yet, so,
Okay.
but it is one of his goals.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll now move on to discussion items. School board policy, Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Policy 5.26, it is related to student discipline, and there are some language changes that need to be made, and those are based on Indiana code as well. And they are found on page 5 of the policy under suspension procedures. And one of the changes that we would make would be the completion of work during the suspension, and this aligns us with the change in Indiana code. And so it really talks about the assignments that will be due, and then the student having the teacher contact information access to answer any questions, and then also that the work completed, they will be given credit for that to the same extent that the students who are not suspended receive. So it's a language change just to be in line with that, so that adjusts that. And then on that same page, near the bottom of page 5, under the expulsion procedures, number 6, we added that section that when a student is being expelled, that we are required to provide alternative programs, information's in our county and in adjacent counties, or about virtual charter schools. So this could even apply for our option that we're working on with the remote or online option as well. But this is just a requirement now that needs to be a part of our policy.
Scott, is that a requirement from my DOE, I take it? Yeah, and so, do you feel like that's something that's been implemented since COVID-19 and how we're now doing?
No, this was before COVID-19, so.
We bring most of our kids back on a PCEA, so they don't really need that alternative placement. Our goal was always to try to get them back, but it was put in place early last year, but it's just required to be policy now.
You know, and with that, there are some situations where by state law, we have to expel if it involves something very serious. So some of that, our hands are tied, but like Kim said, we try to bring kids back on a contract, give them another opportunity, and, so this, I'm hoping that we may have some other venues and avenues with that, with our remote program that we're working on now.
It's a positive side effect of what we're doing virtually now. This is gonna help these kids.
Because, as I understand it, then the kids that are suspended from school and need to do their schoolwork, then what we're doing with our virtual situation would be
Could assist with that, for sure.
assist with them.
Depending on the class and the subject content, but yeah, there might be more opportunities with that as well. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Same as kids who may be home in quarantine or have to miss school for 2 weeks for, the virus or different situations. So that is the first policy. The second one is a new policy, policy 7.39, pandemic and epidemic events and the use of face masks. So this is a direct reflection on the current situation, and this guidance was provided by the Indiana School Boards Association, and I did run it by our attorney, and she gave it her blessing. I think she actually worked on the language with the ISBA on this actually, but it really just talks about, there's some key points on it, and one is the superintendent shall designate one or more staff members to serve as a liaison between the corporation and our state health officials and local health officials. Right now, I've been that primary person. I'll probably continue, but Mrs. Corsaro would probably work in that role as well with me. And then really, this is providing us that guidance that the local health department will really be providing a lot of guidance to us on situations related to the pandemic. And so this just clarifies that language and provides the operational guidelines for me and for our office. And then with the fiscal piece in the third paragraph, we are going to be buying and we are ordering supplies in greater quantity to be prepared. So this just clarifies that there are disinfectant products and masks and different chemicals that we're going to be buying in bulk and storing. And it really just, the School Board Association thought we should have some things in piece there because fiscally it is going to impact our district more with these extra purchases. So this is giving me that guidance under that and our district to do that. And then the last piece would be with the use of face coverings and masks. And it outlines that our plan that's approved, that we are to follow it in relation to face coverings and masks. And when we are receiving them through federal or state agencies, that students are not charged a fee for the use of these. We are receiving some masks from the state that are going to be delivered, and we already received one smaller shipment of those, but we are also purchasing masks as well for our staff. We're working on an order first for them, but we want to be sure we have masks in place and available for those who need those. But if the state or our local health department mandates or decides that we need masks to be worn at school, we'll follow that and follow the guidelines with that as well. So a lot of uncertainty with what will happen, but this is just the first reading of that, and this is a new policy that I don't think anyone ever thought they would be putting into place, but we are putting that in place, so we'll present it for second reading next month. And so that's it. Any questions on that?
All right, on to public comments. Persons wishing to make the board aware of suggestions, ideas, and/or comments may address the board at this time. Comments which involve personnel or students must be discussed in private. Seeing none, we'll move on to report items. Superintendent discussion group reports, principal director reports, director of human resources report.
None.
Okay, director of finance report.
None.
Assistant superintendent report.
Come
I'm here.
on.
Oh, come on, Kim.
We were.
I didn't want him to say none, that made it sound like he has to do my job as well. I just wanted to kind of summarize a little bit about, I know in the last meeting we mentioned about our My School Online option. I know that there are many parents out there that are curious as to what our options are going to be for the upcoming school year. So our goal is to have information on our website by the end of the day Friday explaining the My School Online option. And just to kind of briefly summarize that, we'll have traditional school obviously, which is what kids are used to, but we will practice social distancing, we will do a lot of sanitizing, and has a lot of safety measures in place. But for those parents who are wanting information about our second option, which is going to be called My School Online, it's going to be an opportunity for kids to receive support from a classroom teacher. Now, I want to clarify that if I am a third grade student at Fayette Central, I may not have that third grade teacher be my online teacher. It could be a third grade teacher from Frazee, Eastview, or another school, but it will still be a third grade teacher depending on the number of kids that we have choose this option. But what they would do is they would have the opportunity to kind of Zoom into the classroom and participate in the direct instruction, also be able to ask questions and hear some of the questions that their other peers are asking within that classroom. So we would do that for all of the core subjects, reading, math, science, and social studies, K-12. Now, for our elementary students, we would have some online access information for the special classes like art, music, and PE, but it wouldn't be them zooming in and seeing that class at present time. It would be something that they would do more paper pencil, or they would be doing on their own outside of the instructional day or outside of the video that they zoom in. For middle school, it'll be the same way. They will be zooming in for their core subjects, and then their PE, health, art, music, those encore courses, they would be provided maybe recorded audios where they could watch it after they've zoomed into a specific class, because there'll be more on class periods. So they may have to zoom in first period, third period, fifth period, and seventh period. So that during their downtime on second, fourth, and sixth, they could be utilizing the recorded audios from the PE teacher or the art teacher and working at their pace, their own pace. Obviously, because we aren't able to zoom into every course, our options for My School Online are going to be limited for our high school, but we do want to make sure that our kids are given the course classes so that they have the opportunity to graduate on time. So they would be the same way, like they may have algebra first period, they may have geography third period, and they may have English 9 fifth period, and then a fourth period might be chemistry. So they would take those 4 courses and zoom into our high school and receive the direct instruction. Then for high school, we have a partnership with Indiana Online Academy, and they help us with our summer school. So they're going to offer the kids 2 additional courses that they could take, like a foreign language, they could take health, they could take nutrition. So a high school student would be enrolled in 4 CHS courses, and then they would select 2 online courses that they could work at their own pace. And as a corporation, we wouldn't charge those kids to take those online courses. We would pay for them, but we wouldn't be providing the direct instruction. It would be through Indiana Online Academy. And a lot of our kids access that in the summer and take multiple summer courses through them. So they do a really nice job. So the next thing I think that came out in the survey was the question of parents and students not feeling like they had any feedback from their teachers. So while they will be able to zoom in and actually receive the instruction, we also want to put in what we're going to call Homeschool Liaison, and that'll be a person that is that bridge between that classroom and that parent, so that if a student has questions or a parent has questions and they need to get some answers, this would be their contact person, so that they would be able to reach out to them and say, hey, I need this, or hey, I need help with this. And then we're hoping to even to put in some tutoring time so that they could come to a place that's not within the building, that we could still social distance and maybe have a one-to-one tutoring session, so that we could make sure that these kids that are receiving this online instruction are still maintaining at the same rate as our kids that are in our traditional classrooms. So that is just a brief overview. Working with our e-learning committee, which is a group of teachers, administrators, and we are hoping to kind of work through all of the nuts and bolts of this so that we can have it out on our web pages by Friday. But I just don't want parents to feel like, I know they're biting at the bit to get information about what we're doing, and we're really trying to create something that's going to meet the needs of our kids and make sure that our kids are filling those academic gaps. We don't want to create more of an academic gap than what we already have. And we want to make sure that parents and students feel supported. So that's why it's taken us a little bit longer to get it out there, because we want to do it really well. But I just want to make sure parents realize that there is going to be that option, and both options will be available hopefully by the end of the week, if not Monday, so that they can research it, look through it, and decide which option's best for them.
Is registration online or is it in person?
We're going to try to do registration in person, primarily for elementary, because we need to verify residency for them. We are going to limit it so that we don't have a lot. I mean, if it's not something that we need to start school, in the past you may have to fill out 6 or 7 papers. We're going to sit down as a group and say, these are the essential papers that you must fill out. And it may be 1 or 2, and we're going to get them in and get them out and keep that social distancing so that we don't have those long lines of waiting. And then we can get some of that other paperwork that we may need within the first 60 days of school by sending it home or by putting it online and having access to it online. But we will have a registration in person July 23rd and 24th. If they can't come or they don't feel safe coming to those times, our buildings are open for appointments, and we can make appointments and they can come in at a separate time. So we're going to be very open to supporting them and however they need supported, but we definitely do need some people to come in and verify addresses and get some basic information so that we can make sure we get kids where they need to be, and we have bus routes.
Would it be possible to have our principals, I mean, not everybody watches the school board meeting, even though look at this is great entertainment, like who
I
else,
know,
who wouldn't
I
wanna
know.
watch this?
Yes.
But I have seen on social media people saying, where can I find this information? And other people are saying, go to the Fayette County website.
Right.
Would it, or Fayette County Schools website, would it be possible to have principals send the link and to all their, I don't know if.
Yeah, and principals are back in their buildings this
Okay.
week they're just now starting to come back in, so, that's definitely something, and we've been kind of waiting to make sure that we know exactly what we're doing before we put information out there. So, a lot of them have been eager to communicate with their families, but we're a little bit slower in getting this out because we're really trying to make it the best that it can be. And we don't wanna put information out there that we know we can't do and have to retract it, because that creates anxiety and panic. So, as soon as they know that they have the go-ahead, and they'll start putting that information out to their parents, whether it's Remind or a lot of them tweet. They got all kinds of things going on, but I will encourage them to do that. But most of them are just returning to their offices, and they're waiting for the go-ahead
Sure.
for this plan to
communicate.
proceed with that information. But definitely, we can do that for registration.
Okay.
Kim, is that going to be in the paper, the dates and times for registration for all 3 levels?
Yes, it's
Yes,
our, yes.
And we'll send that out to our schools, but also something, when we get these 2 choices, they'll be on a webpage with different links you click on. That will also be a place, once that goes live this week or by Monday, parents will be able to click on the online option, learn more about it, and then will there be a survey or
Yeah, they'll
where they
be-
can fill out some
yeah.
info with what they're interested in?
If they choose the My School Online, they can click to go to, it'll take them to a Google form, and it'll ask them a series of questions, because obviously this is an option that they would need to have internet access. They need to understand that it's going to be not the same coursework or availability of courses, especially if you have a student that's an early college, high school student, or a student who's planning to attend the Career Center. Some of those options aren't going to be available, so it'll pop up and say, in order for you to be on My School Online, you need to understand these things, and then it'll ask for a name. So we'll be able to generate some information from those students who are interested in the My School Online, but we still need them to register as well.
And that would be on those same dates as the other kids?
Yes.
They should hopefully get that sooner.
Yeah, they should be able to do the Google Sheet hopefully by Friday evening, Monday at the latest.
But one of the things I think you need to be really hit them in the head with is that it's not like what we had before, that there will be specific times that you will be required to be there.
Right.
It won't be, I'm going to sleep till noon and then go to school. It's going to be, you will have your first period class from 8:15 to 9 o'clock.
Right, it will mirror a normal schedule for a middle school, high school, or even an elementary student. Whenever that class is having that particular subject, you would be expected to log in and participate in that. So
And that's
at a
attendance.
minimum, probably
We'll take
4
attendance
hours.
that way too.
Accountability should not be any different.
No, they will be
Should be the
required to
same
do
for
the
both.
same classwork. If they have to do a test, then they would schedule the test with the Homeschool Liaison. They would come in. If they would obviously be required to do all of our state assessments as well. NWEA, iLearn, so they would have to also take those as well. So it's going to mirror the classroom as closely as possible.
Good.
It's just, we will have limited course offerings because we have limited people that can provide that. We can't all be online at once yet, right?
We want to do it well. And, when we offer those test sessions, they will come in where they'll be socially distanced and a site where there won't be other kids in that proximity. So we're trying to offer an option, we're working on that now as well, for parents to schedule appointments and bring their kids in. Because it's important that when kids take a cumulative assessment in U.S. history, that they're held to that same standard that the kid who's in the classroom, because we want to be sure that we measure learning and growth the same way. So there will be some pieces that parents will have to agree to, where we will set up locations for that. We have a site in mind, we're just not ready to get that out there yet.
And this might be a question more for Scott, and he may actually be addressing it in his report, but this information is really important for parents. I know I've received lots of questions from staff about various subject matters related to attendance, sick days, that kind of thing. So if somebody can just mention when staff will be hearing that information.
We'll handle that through internal communication, but Kim and I are meeting with a group of teachers Friday
Okay.
to go over all those details, and then we'll be
Great.
sending that out to all staff, so that's coming too.
Great. And I
It's
think
all
that,
coming.
right, and I commend the amount of work, and we're short-staffed right now, so everybody's wearing many different hats. And I just want our public to know this is something that's being taken very seriously, which is why it's taking a while.
We want to do it well, and we want it to be what's best for kids. And, you know, it's easy just to say, hey, go sign up for a virtual class, but these are our kids, and we feel like we want to educate them, and we want them to have all the tools necessary to go to the next course or to the next grade. And so we're trying to find a happy medium in there, and that's not always as easily said or easily done as it is said. So that's what's taken us a little bit longer than, but we recognize people are anxious.
And that human connection is huge. That's why we are wanting to create our own in-house program, so they have connection to Fayette County School teachers and staff. Because that's a big piece for our kids, rather than being assigned to a teacher who may be out in Virginia or something you don't even know. With some of these online virtual options, you don't know where they're teaching that or where they're connecting with people from, because these are our teachers that are invested in our kids. So that.
And in the end, we're telling them the assessments are gonna be the same. It doesn't matter if you're going to online school
They have
or
to
regular,
be
the assessments are the
yeah.
same.
So we have to prepare them.
Right.
Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
All right, and on to superintendent's report.
I will be brief tonight. I just wanted to say a big thank you to our maintenance and custodial team, our bus mechanics, administrators. The cleanup out here, if you were able to drive out here on the high school campus over the weekend after our storm, a lot of damage, and our guys and gals got on it, and by yesterday evening, it was remarkable to see the progress made. So I just want to commend, we've got a great group of people who support and are dedicated to our kids in our community and school districts, so kudos to them. Kim and I have been visiting the buildings. There's a lot of pre-planning that's taking place with preparing our kids, and I just want to say thank you to our principals. Been in 7 of our buildings at this point, have more scheduled tomorrow. We'll wrap it up, but just the thoughtfulness of our teachers and principals, the ones who are providing input, because it's a team effort to do this, and we've got a big task ahead of us, and so it's not something that we're taking lightly, and I just want you to know that there's a lot of work behind the scenes and to get ready for school to start. So,
Thank you. And now we're on for the good of the cause.
Just thought graduation went great. I appreciate the
did.
planning that went into
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Just
Very nice.
People that I talked to afterwards thought it was something they wanted, and we delivered, and kudos to everybody involved.
It was great. I had not heard the Spartan Fight song since March, and I think I was going through withdrawal, and I literally teared up, because we had kids out there, we had the band, we had participation in a beautiful new facility, and after a rather dark time, that was really, really cool. And that facility is fantastic.
it was.
Anything else? We know what time it is.
Okay.
Mr. Hunt?
Madam President, I make a motion.
Feeling hurt, but.
And do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dennis. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Meeting adjourned.